All right, guys. Well, I want to first congratulate you all for being accepted to Central Penn College. And we're so excited you're officially a Knight. So congratulations. You should be really proud of that. We're looking forward to seeing you on campus this fall. So we're going to actually do some fun and informative overview today to go over admissions, financial aid tips, COVID updates for when you return to campus. We're going to do housing, diversity and multicultural affairs will be joining us, and so will student services and athletics to let you know what you can be involved in once you're here. We'll be handling questions and answers throughout the entire presentation this morning. So if you open up your chat bar down on the bottom, you can feel free to put in any of your questions there, and we'll read them out loud and get them answered so everybody knows them. Because if you have a question, I bet somebody else in this room does too. So we will be covering those. I want to take a couple minutes here at the beginning. You'll see a bunch of my friends have already joined me this morning, so I'm going to just do some quick introductions. First of all, I should have introduced myself. I'm Lisa Seifert. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions. So a lot of you have probably been working with me and my team. So I will get started with them. There is Asia Sargent. She's one of our admissions counselors, and some of you have been working with her. Miss Amy Reinhold. She's down there. She does a lot with our PTA students, but she also does a lot of reach out. So she probably did a lot of reminders for you guys for this event today. Then we have Amy Rocliffe. She's one of our high school outreach coordinators. And then we also have Jaime Ramos. So he is also a high school outreach coordinator. And they both will be helping with tours as you guys are coming back to campus and getting you acquainted of where you're going to be. We also have Miss Kelly Fox. You guys have probably been dealing with her. She's our money lady, the financial planner. So she's making sure that you're able to come to school. And then we have Mr. Sean Farr joining us. He is our Vice President of Administration and Finance and our Pandemic Safety Officer. So he'll be going over the COVID updates with us today. And then last but not least, we have Curtis Volker. He told me to let him introduce himself. So he's actually going to kick off this whole day with you. So I will give him the floor to do that. Curtis?
Thank you, Lisa. And just double checking, because I'm still getting used to this whole Zoom community, as I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Will the PowerPoint be popping up here on Derek's end if he's listening? There we go. It's like a magic wand. You say the magic words. All right, and we should be good to go to be on the slide number 3 there, Derek. Actually, yeah, let's start with that. So you guys just saw that quick slide come through. Again, just congratulations on your acceptance. So as Lisa said, I was going to introduce myself just as a way to flow in. So my name is Curtis Volker. I'm the Director of Advancement and Program Relations with the college. I'm also a 2-time graduate, so I've kind of walked in your shoes, or soon-to-be shoes, as you are making your way to campus. I've lived on campus. I participated in clubs and activities and intramural athletics and things like that. So totally loved my experience and decided to stay on and work with the college. So I'm so excited to have you all become Central Penn Knights. And round of applause for you guys for tuning into this presentation here this morning, because we're going over some important facts that you definitely want to key in, maybe even write some notes down to help you be a successful college student with Central Penn. So the next slide you're going to see is one tool that's really going to help you guys be successful as a Central Penn Knight, and that is downloading the Central Penn College app. So whether you have an Android or an iPhone, you can go into your respective app store and download that app. So you could probably do it right after the program's all finished up. That way you're ready to go. If you need to, wait till you get to campus and we can help you out with that. But definitely download the app so you can stay connected with all your fellow Central Penn Knights. All right, so some objectives here that we're going to be discussing in the presentation. Next steps for accepting your offer as a Central Penn Knight, going over what exactly a placement exam is, ordering textbooks, completing financial aid, free housing for incoming students. There's a big thing to really listen up for, and our COVID-19 response updates, because, you know, last couple months, have just been crazy, haven't they? And, you know, Central Penn College is answering the call, and we have some important updates to share with you in terms of how we're addressing COVID-19. All right, so as Lisa mentioned, I'm not the only one who's kicking things off today. I'd like to pass it over to our financial planning coordinator, our money lady, Kelly Fox.
All right, good morning. As many of you know who have paid your $100 tuition deposit, I have emailed out your tuition bills this week. So they went to you and your parents. If you have not yet paid your $100 deposit and you are planning to attend classes this fall, we need to get that from you so that we can get you registered for classes. Your tuition bill, if you are planning to attend, is due September 11th. If you have questions on the tuition bill I sent you, if you haven't received a tuition bill, I'm going to be your main contact person for that. But that starts the whole process, is paying the $100 so that we can get you registered for classes. And if you are living on campus, we can get you placed in housing.
All right, guys, some more important dates. So if you want to screenshot that slide, or if you happen to have a notepad and pen with you, you definitely want to write these things down for our fall term start. So move-in weekend starts Saturday, October 3rd. Here's some really important things. Housing orientation is Sunday, October 4th. That's a virtual class on Blackboard. So make sure that you're able to log in, you're checking things out, you're getting familiarized with the technology in our systems, and you definitely want to complete that housing orientation. In addition to new student orientation on Monday, October 5th, also a virtual event, but you'll notice it's on a different platform. It's a virtual event on Zoom. So definitely put an asterisk or a star next to those two things, because completion of those helps secure your free housing as an incoming student. So you definitely want to make sure you complete those two items to keep that free housing as an incoming student. Okay, the last bullet on that slide you see is first day of class. It's making its way here. It's almost that time, Tuesday, October 6th. It probably snuck up on you, but believe me, we're gonna do everything we can to help make sure that you're prepared and ready to go for your first day of class. All right, thank you. So, placement exam. You know, it seems like a lot of words, a lot of information on this slide. Take a minute or so, read that over. Long story short, what this really says is that as an incoming Central Penn student, we have a placement exam, a test, if you will, to see at what level or what degree in terms of math and English that you may be taking as an incoming student, okay? Now, some of you may have received an email regarding placement exams from your admissions counselor. If you haven't received anything quite yet and you're wondering to yourself, am I a student that needs to take this exam? Please, by all means, contact your admissions counselor and they can let you know, yes, here's how we can set you up, or no, you may not have to take this placement exam, and they'll connect you with the next steps, okay? So again, just take a minute or so, read through this slide, and if you still have some questions on, hey, is this for me, or did I get this already? Just by all means, contact your admissions counselor and they'd be happy to help you out. All right, back to Kelly.
So books are a vital part of your success at Central Penn. You do need to purchase textbooks to be successful here. For those of you that are scheduled for classes, the book list will be in your portal the week of September 7th. So what you'll do is you'll click on our link, you'll enter in the classes you're registered for, and it will pull up the books that you need. Our website does offer used books as well as new books. We also provide the ISBN so that you can take that number and then search around should you not want to purchase them on our website. We highly suggest that you order them at least 2 weeks before the term starts. For some of you who've received your tuition bill and you see a credit on your account, meaning amount due to you as the student, you can use refund money to purchase your textbooks. And any of you who have that, your voucher will be in your Central Penn email. So not your Gmail, not your Hotmail, your Central Penn email on September 17th. So that is how you would then use your credit from your financial aid to purchase your books. We would provide for you the information on your login and password, and then you would use that, purchase your textbooks, and use that credit to check out. But again, textbooks are vital. You do need them to be successful here. The link will be in your portal the week of September 7th, but we do suggest ordering them at least 2 weeks before classes start. And you can have your books shipped here to campus, so they're waiting for you when you come for move-in. This is all of my contact information. Any questions that you have on the tuition bill I sent, why you didn't receive a tuition bill, how to set up your payment plan in your student portal through CashNet, questions on your balances, private loans, anything like that, I am your contact person. So that's my direct phone number, that's my email address. Please reach out with questions. Anything concerning tuition bill, anything that I've emailed you, I will be your main financial contact person. I do want to talk about the free housing. For most of you who are scheduled and decided you wanted to live on campus, you have completed and signed your housing contract. So if you look at your tuition bill, you will see that we did charge you for housing, but then you also see that you have a scholarship to cover that. So your scholarship covers your super suite. You are still responsible for the utilities and the meal plan that you chose for the term, and you do still have to pay the $250 housing security deposit. $200 of that can be refunded to you once you graduate and satisfy all the conditions of your lease. For the free housing, you will have that for your fall term, your winter term, and your spring term. So your first 3 terms on campus, your housing will be covered by the scholarships as long as you meet the following criteria, which is the maintain a 2.0, not be placed on disciplinary probation, participate in all mandatory housing programs, which, as Curtis mentioned, is your new student orientation and your housing orientation. Maintain 12 credits unless you are taking 9, which is approved by an exception through our Vice President of Academics. And then you must maintain continuous enrollment. For those of you who are commuting and you are thinking that maybe housing is something you would like to consider, please reach out to me so I can review what that would look like on your tuition bill, and we can discuss if that is an option for you. So some important housing to-dos, and housing does have a presentation coming up, but I wanted to mention that you do need to make sure that you have your security deposit paid by September 11th, that you are filling out all of the paperwork that was emailed to your Central Penn email for housing. So you cannot be placed and get a roommate packet if you haven't completed all of your medical forms, your lease, all the forms that are in your Central Penn email, and they're completed through DocuSign. So you don't have to print anything and mail it back. You complete everything electronically so that then we can get the paperwork faster and get you placed faster. For those of you who did indicate you're planning on living on campus, the roommate list will actually be emailed to you, again, to your Central Penn email the week of September 7th. So you need to have all of your housing paperwork completed to receive that email with your roommate list so you can start to contact them and figure out who you're living with and start to kind of make a connection. But again, that won't happen unless we have your $250 housing deposit and all of your housing paperwork completed. It's in your Central Penn email. It's through DocuSign. If you haven't received the email or you have questions on completing it, please reach out so we can help you get through that process. I'd now like to introduce Sean Farr. He is our Vice President of Administration and Finance, and he is also our Pandemic Safety Officer.
Thank you, Kelly, for that introduction. And welcome to Central Penn College to everybody. We look forward to having you on campus and taking classes. Want to talk to you about what we do to create a safe environment on the campus. And we've been planning for a number of months, but it's not theoretical planning. We're actually putting it in practice, because right now in the summer term, we do have health science students on campus. We have about 30 students living in housing right now. So our protocols that we've put in place around COVID are being tested out, and they're working well. So we feel that we have a safe environment. So when you come, you can feel confident that you're going to be safe as well. There's some new stuff that we are putting in place. We're putting in place arrangement with UPMC to be on campus. We're taking one of our suites. In fact, the first suite, when you do your housing tour, is going to be a UPMC health clinic. We're going to have a nurse there 2 days a week, and then we'll also have telehealth for the in-between through UPMC. And the main purpose of that is not only your general health, but if you need to be tested or want to get a test for COVID, you're going to be able to do that. We also have arrangement through UPMC Family Practice, Good Hope Family Practice, which is about 2.5 miles down Valley to the end of Valley, and we will have medical services there. And then if you needed to, the hospital, West Shore Hospital, is also about 2.5 miles down that same road, Valley Road. So we're trying to, that's something actually new, the relationship with UPMC. We're finalizing that right now in the next few weeks, so that by the time the start of the fall term, not only will we have it finalized, but we'll actually have it in practice, and the students who are here that want to access it will be able to do so. We implemented social distancing practices for classrooms and computer labs and other facilities. So what used to be a classroom that had 25 seats in it, or it could fit 25 students, we've taken each classroom and identified how many students could fit in a 6-foot social distancing. And so we've marked off spaces, and so classes that used to be capped out at 25 now may be 12 or 13. So one of the benefits of COVID is that well, okay, not that there's great benefits, but one of the pluses coming out of this is we're going to have smaller class sizes that you might otherwise have. So I think as a student, that's beneficial, more personalized attention from your faculty member as well. The Night and Day Cafe is where students who live on campus get fed, get food. It's open generally in the past to all students, faculty, and staff. Right now, it's closed to just residential students who are accessing it for their food plans, their meal plans. That'll be the case through the end of the summer term. And then as we open up the fall term in October, we'll have to kind of reevaluate. Certainly it will be there for on-campus students living on campus. We will look about opening up to all students and faculty and staff. Right now the food is grab and go. And so it's not served to you, it's prepared, and you're kind of picking and choosing what you want, so that we limit the contact aspect of food. And then housing. Housing is, we have suites, and those suites have individual rooms. And in fact, I think next is we're going to have a housing tour, a virtual housing tour. We have 7 rooms in a suite, and then there's 4 bathrooms in each suite. What we're going to do initially, as capacity builds up, is we're going to put 4 people in a suite. So you're in your individual room, and then you'll have your own bathroom. You know, as increases in the number of students who come in to housing, 4 may go to 5, 5 may go to 6, but initially that's what we're looking at. So depending on how many students actually end up coming into housing into the suites. Overall, we are going to require masks to be worn on campus, in classes, whether you're indoors or outdoors, to protect each other, to protect our community. And so we ask that you do that. And it's a little strange, I can say. Right now I'm in my office, so I don't have my mask on, but as I go out or as I work with other people on campus, I will have my mask as well. So I think that's it for me. And then I think we're going to toss it back to, I don't know, Curtis, somebody, Lisa, and we'll do questions and answers.
Yes, thank you, Sean. So real quick, before we change that slide, again, for more information, check out centralpenn.edu/COVID to just stay up to date on all the extra measures in addition to what Sean had mentioned in terms of how Central Penn is addressing these things for your safety as a Central Penn Knight. And now I think we're good to go with the next slide there, Derek. Awesome. So we're not done yet. We're really just getting started, but it's kind of my time's up, and I believe Kelly's time's up for now. It's now time for a question and answer session, and we're going to kick it back to Lisa. So I hope you guys are as excited as we all are to have you back on campus, online, and everywhere in between. We're so excited to have you as Central Penn Knights. Thank you all, And Lisa, it's your turn to shine again.
All right, guys, sorry I was muted. Thank you, Curtis. All right, guys, I know we shared a lot of information with you. I know we're good about putting that out there, but I know we didn't answer all your questions. So if you want to start putting the questions there in the chat, and we'll start getting those answered. It looks like we have one in here. And Sean, it looks like a question for you. Will we be tested for COVID before we attend Central Penn? Hold on.
There we go.
Yep.
I was, trying to search for my unmute. So, excellent question. Sorry, I didn't cover that. The answer is no. What you do is you will have a form that you will complete online, and it'll ask you a series of questions about your health. And as you answer those questions, then it tells you whether you should be here. So what we're basically telling people is if you have any kind of symptoms, you should not come on campus. Or if you're in housing, you're on campus, then you should be communicating that, and we will have protocols around if we need to isolate people or get people tested through the UPMC clinic that I was talking about. What we do encourage people, though, is to monitor your health, and then communicate. So we're depending upon you to not only monitor your health, but then communicate to us. And what happens is if people have to go remote education, even if you're in housing, you will still take your classes. You will need to do it remotely until such time that you have a test and we can find out what the situation with an individual's health is. So your education will continue. We'll just work through some protocols on that.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. A next question is, I noticed on my schedule that I have an English class that is blended. What does that mean? I can start taking that question for you guys, and then if anybody has anything to add. What that means is that you will be in class for part of the time, and then you usually have the at least 1 hour online. So it'll be a blended class is what it stands for. Kelly, do you have anything to add to that?
Nope, so you're right. You report to class however many days it's listed on your schedule, and then the rest of your time will be spent online submitting assignments or meeting online.
All right. Next question, Sean, back to you. With the COVID, should we wear gloves when we're on campus?
We don't have a gloves requirement. Gosh, these are great questions. I'm thinking of all the stuff I didn't cover. We have hand sanitizer stations. As you go through campus, they're very visible and noticeable because they're everywhere. So the expectation is we're using hand sanitizer. So before you go into a classroom, you're using some hand sanitizer, wiping it on your hands, and then when you leave. So, and it's available everywhere. There isn't going to be a place on campus where you're not going to be able to access that. So in lieu of gloves, what we're trying to do is get people to continually sanitize so that we're all protected.
Okay. All right. One of the questions that we get asked a lot, Sean, I'm going to ask you again, is do I have to wear my mask when I'm outside walking to class?
Yeah, we are right now wanting students to do that. Now, if you're walking on campus, like right now, there aren't a lot of students on campus because we just have health science students. If I'm out and walking on campus and I'm totally by myself, I'll probably still be wearing a mask. But if somebody wasn't, that's not the end of the world. But as we get back into the fall term, there will be students, there will be people on campus. So we're asking people to wear masks, even if you're more than 6 feet away, just for the safety of everybody involved.
Okay. So we have a question on any updates on a vaccine. I'm not sure if you would know that, but
Well, yeah, that's a little past my forte, really. But you know, nationally, obviously they're working on vaccines. It'll be some time before it gets through trials and testing. So we're not expecting it, certainly during the fall term, which goes October through towards the holidays. There was not anticipated there'll be a vaccine available. We're looking for that in maybe the first quarter, probably more likely the second quarter of 2021, and then it'll take some time to be distributed, and you know, so on and so forth. So right now, the protocols that we have, you know, we feel good that we can maintain everybody's safety on campus.
Will there be any kind of parking passes? Aisha, do you want to answer that one?
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Sure, yes, we do issue parking passes. So you will be issued a parking pass if you're able to provide valid insurance, registration, and a valid driver's license. You will present that to our public safety department, and they will then issue you a parking pass. There is no additional charge for the parking pass, and you are only able to park in the student parking lots on campus.
Right. Asia, stay unmuted for a minute. I got one more question for you. When do I get my student ID?
You will get your student ID on move-in day. So you would actually have to take your picture and get your student ID on the first day of move-in. Your key card for your student ID will be what you use to access certain academic buildings as well as your suite. So that will double as your student ID and also your key pass as well.
And if you aren't living on campus, you'll probably get them the first day during that first week. And I'm sure that that'll probably be covered in housing as well. All right. Another question. Sean, this one's for you. Do you think we'll be able to eat in the cafe by the time the fall term starts?
Yeah, that's what we hope. Right now, we're limiting kind of access. We have, like I said, we have close to 30 students on campus right now. Actually, we have another 24 students who are actually moving in Sunday. So Lindsay and crew will be up soon here. We'll be busy on Sunday. But yeah, we have the eating space. Now we'll be doing it with social distancing. So it's not necessarily the most friendly eating environment, but we will be using our cafeteria space and our lounge space that's outside of it as well for people to spread out.
Okay. Sean, another question for you. You're popular today.
Yeah.
So we have a student coming up from Florida that may be traveling through New York for the fall. Is there a way to quarantine before they come, or do we have to quarantine here?
Let's see, I'm trying to read through the question here from Eric. Eric, so what happens, we're following the Pennsylvania Department of Health quarantine list of states, and so Florida is on that list. But if you go from Florida to New York and you're there for some period of time, let's say 2 weeks, if you come then from New York to here, New York is not on the Pennsylvania list. I know this kind of gets a little bureaucratic. But what basically you should just be communicating to us, you know, kind of where you've been, and that'll be in the questions when the form I was talking about earlier. And then we'll see students who need to be quarantined for some period of time. We have a space set aside for that. We've had students who have done that. We had students who came up from, we had 2 students who came from Florida who are here right now in the summer term. In the first 2 weeks, they were quarantined. They were taking their classes remotely, and then they got integrated back in. So it just depends on the timing of that. And as you get to your specific date of whether you're coming from New York and how long you've been there, the housing people will work with you on that and let you know what you have to do.
All right. Thank you, Sean. All right. So once a vaccine is available, will there be a requirement for all students and staff to receive it?
Well, we haven't got there, but no, I don't. We're not going to probably be in the vaccine world. What we will do, though, is probably our questionnaire will be updated as we get to that point. As a country, have you, received a vaccine? Have you not? Just so we know and we're monitoring people's health.
Okay, perfect. Another question that came in was, there's no room numbers on the schedule currently. Well, some of them are, but some of them are missing. What does that mean? Kelly, do you want to take that one?
Sure. As Sean mentioned, we have reduced class sizes. So we are now working on figuring out what rooms all of the classes will be in. So right now, we just wanted you to have your schedule so you knew what classes you were taking. As we get those room updates and as we get professors assigned, we will be updating the schedules. That should all be done by the end of September.
All right. Does anybody, these are great questions, guys. Any other questions that you may have about admissions, financial aid, or COVID updates? All right. Well, right now, we actually were just joined by our housing team, Residence Life. So they should be popping up around here. We have Lindsay Garber, who is our director of Residence Life. We also have Recondis and Brian Christiana that joined us. You guys want to say hi?
I think we have one more question before we transition.
Sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Will students be able to leave campus to come home for the weekend? Yeah, I
was going to say, I didn't know if that was directed at Sean or to us already, but hi, everybody. I'm Lindsay Garber. I'm the Director of Student Housing and Residence Life at Central Penn College. Right now, we're not requiring you to stay permanently on campus. So if you want to go home and visit your family, you're welcome to. Just be mindful, if you are going home to one of the states on the list, when you come back, you are going to have to quarantine for 14 days. So just keep that in mind as you're planning travel arrangements. Okay. Sorry, Sean, I didn't know if you wanted to.
Absolutely. Perfect answer.
All right, awesome. So right now we're going to kind of shift into the housing tour and what they can do for you. We'll continue to answer questions all throughout, so keep putting any housing questions or any questions that you have for that matter in the chat. So Lindsay, go ahead, the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome today. We are going to be giving you a tour of our super suites. The people that are going to be conducting the tour is our Residence Hall Coordinator, Brian Christiana, and our Residence Life Coordinator, Bree Condis. So I will turn it over to them, and then at the end of the tour, we will answer questions and see what more details you'd like.
Hi guys, I'm Bree Condis, the Residence Coordinator, and to begin our tour, we're going to start outside. So as you heard before a few minutes ago, once you arrive on campus in student housing, you get a student ID. It'll look something along the lines of this. This is the access to get into your unit. Every unit has a key card badge that looks just like this. You swipe your badge, and then it unlocks the door for you. So once you get into the suite, every suite is pretty much the same, although we do have different layouts. Most of the suites have 7 rooms, including the RA room. So to start off, the RA room is right up in the front, and then it goes into the common area. So the common area is for everybody to use. It has a fridge and a microwave that everybody is able to utilize, as well as a table and a set of chairs, a couch, an armchair, an entertainment center, although you would have to bring your own TV. We do not provide those for you, and then a coffee table. So once you move through the suite, we go to more bedrooms as well as a vanity area. So all of our lights are motion operated. So for every bathroom, there is a private room that has a toilet and a shower. So everybody has their own or will be paired up after COVID, hopefully. Then one of the bedrooms down here. So I know a lot of you will most likely have questions about the measurements of the rooms. So just to give an idea, the bedroom is 9 feet by 7 3/4 by 8 feet and 11.5 inches. So 9 feet, 8 feet, The window is 3 feet wide, and then there is also a closet that is 4 feet by 6 inches and 2 feet deep. So you are more than welcome to bring some other storage options to be able to put in the closet. The bed height is also adjustable. The highest it can be is this right here. So to give an idea, I'm 4'11", so this is kind of where it'll hit. The bed is a twin extra long, and when you do come, just remember to bring your own sheets and whatnot, so that way you can decorate your bed. The room also comes with a a desk, and then a chair. If you want to switch out the chair, you're more than welcome to. I know some people like to bring like better computer chairs. You're more than welcome to do that. And then there's also a 3-drawer dresser. And this is essentially what all of the rooms look like. So there are 3 rooms downstairs, one being the RA room. We have 2 student rooms, and then we have 4 more rooms upstairs, which is where we're going to go now. So while we are going upstairs, just want to remind you that once you all get access to your student email, that is going to be the main way of communication from our department. So everything regarding your housing application, DocuSign, which are all of our medical forms, that's all going to be sent to your student email. So just make sure that when you get access to it, you check it as often as possible. So this is what the second floor of a suite usually looks like. There are 2 more bathrooms as well as another vanity. All of the vanities do have 2 sinks. So one on the right, one on the left, and then there is a plethora of drawers and cabinets for you guys. So just to kind of give another idea, the rooms look all pretty much the same, and they all come with the same stuff. If you have any questions about the things that you want to bring, you're not sure if you should, just let us know in the chat, and we'll go over some of that with you. Basically, the main things that you do not want to bring: no candles, no heavy exercise equipment, no animals, please, unless it's a fish. We like fish, that's okay. And we are a dry campus, so no alcohol, no drug paraphernalia, and we also are a weapons-free campus. And that's pretty much it for the suite. Do you guys have any questions?
All right.
You guys must have done a great job. I don't see questions coming up in the chat.
Wow. So usually our most popular segment is housing.
All right. Cool. As Bree mentioned, everybody, just a reminder, if you are moving in on campus, please make sure that you're checking your student email account regularly. We do send all of the forms that we need through DocuSign. They do go to your student email account. Those need to be completed prior to your placement in housing and receiving a roommate packet. So roommate packets are set to go out the beginning of September. Those that are completed are going to get placed first. So please make sure you're working on that. If you have any questions or you're having any issues with DocuSign, please reach out to us. I'll put our email in the chat just so you guys have that. It goes to everyone in the department. So that would be a good way to ask questions or, get assistance.
Okay, Lindsay, we have a question on, can you repeat the size of the rooms and the bed size so we know what bedding to get?
Sure, so the bed is a twin extra long. So a twin XL is usually how the contents of the bags are labeled. The bedroom itself is 9 feet and 7.75 inches by 8 feet and 11.5 inches. The closet is 4 feet by 6 inches and is 2 feet deep. The window is 3 feet wide.
Okay, thank you, Bree.
Yeah, no problem.
Lindsay, can you go over what the guest policy looks like?
Yeah, so our guest policy is currently, you can find that actually on the website. If you go to the Central Penn website and type in guest policy, it'll pull up all of the specifics and how to register a guest. We do allow overnight guests, but they are only permitted Friday through Monday. During the week, during your classes, you can have guests, but they have to leave before 11 p.m. Every guest that comes will have to do a screening form and be approved through that process ahead of time before their arrival. and they will also have to abide by the same restrictions of, that we have in place for COVID. They have to wear their masks. They're going to need to limit their exposure around campus to different places. They also are going to have to check in at the public safety office upon their arrival.
No question that we get asked a lot. Bree, since you're in the suite, a lot of people ask what the size of the refrigerator is and how big of a refrigerator they can bring for their room.
So for their room, it's not so much the size, but the wattage. So it's wise to not bring a mini fridge for a personal use that exceeds 1,800 watts. So usually a 3 cubic foot would be a pretty decent size. The fridge in the common area, I don't have exact measurements, but I'm 4'11", so I would say that it's maybe about 4 feet tall. It does have a freezer component and then a normal fridge component. So if they do not have a mini fridge to put in their bedrooms, they are able to utilize this. This is for all of the residents within the house.
Okay. You can see a microwave there too. All right. Another question that was asked previously was, can I bring my own couch for the common area?
So we've had students do that in the past. We don't say no to that, but you need to be prepared if we need to move you from the residence or whatever that, situations arise that you may need to move to a different location, or you may need to move out. You need to be prepared to move that piece of furniture. We are not able to help you move, and neither is the maintenance staff due to liability concerns, but you need to be prepared to move the furniture you bring. Just keep that in mind when you are bringing stuff to college. It's not a no, but we've had students have trouble with that in the past.
All right. And Lindsay, can you elaborate a little bit more? We did cover it in the beginning about keeping the housing scholarship by doing the Blackboard housing orientation. Could you maybe review that for them of where to find it and what they have to do to complete it?
So I'm actually going to pass that off to Bree Condis. She is the lead on our housing orientation. She did a great job moving that all to Blackboard for students, especially with everything with COVID coming through. So I'm going to pass that off to her.
Yeah, so housing orientation is pretty much, you can find it on Blackboard. So once you have all of your housing documents in through DocuSign and we're ready to place you, that is then when we are able to enroll you in a housing orientation course on Blackboard. Once you log into Blackboard, you will find it under My Courses, and it's listed as housing orientation. Inside the course, there is a plethora of materials for you to look at. We also have our what to bring list in there, copies of our medical forms in case you need doubles. So all of that is listed in there. Essentially, all of the modules go over different areas of housing policies, our drug and alcohol education, conflict resolution, what does the lease say in non-legal terms. So all that information is located in the housing orientation course on Blackboard. After you go through all of the material, then you take the exam, which is available usually until the week before you move. That is usually anywhere between 20 to 25 questions. It's not timed, but you do have to score an 80 or above in order to remain eligible to keep your placement, to keep your scholarship, and to be able to move in on your scheduled move-in day.
Right, thank you, Bree.
Yeah.
All right. How can I request a roommate or be with my teammates?
So when you submit your housing application, there are several boxes that ask if there's anything else that you'd like to share with us. Just make sure that if you have any roommate requests or anything like that, or if you just would like to room with soccer players, just please put that in that entry box there.
Okay. Are the super suites mixed between male and female, or will I be only with my own gender?
So moving in, new students are typically placed goes with females, males go with males. We do have gender inclusive housing in place, so that is an option, as well as if you become into a themed house and you're an upperclassman, then you can have a mixed unit.
Okay. Another question about what to bring is the what to bring list. We will have located on the Take the Closer Look site out there as well. But can you bring air fryers or certain cooking appliances?
Yeah, you definitely can. You just can't bring anything that would essentially produce an open flame, or, you know, it uses an excessive amount of electric.
And if any of those items you do bring need to be used in the common areas, we ask that you don't have them in your rooms.
Okay. I'm sorry. I already asked that question. Do we have to wear masks when we're in our housing suites?
So inside the housing suites, you are not required to wear masks. If you were more comfortable wearing that, you can, but you do need to practice social distancing and being safe while you're in there. We do have cleaning schedules that will be in place when you move in. Every student will have to follow, and that we will be checking to make sure that everyone is doing that successfully.
Okay. If something is broken in my super suite, who would I call?
So you don't actually have to call anybody. If you have a facilities issue, like something's broken or, you know, something's not working correctly, you simply will just email maintenance, and it's maintenance@centralpenn.edu. We have that information hanging up in your suite on the boards. And then we also have it in your welcome packets. So you'll have that posted quite a bit.
Okay. Is there an RA in every suite?
Unfortunately, no, there's not an RA in every suite. However, there is an RA assigned to every suite. So if you don't have an RA living with you, there will be one overseeing your unit who will come to visit multiple times during the week. We'll check in and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. What do I do if I lose my ID and I can't get into my house?
So then you would go down to public safety. They would have you sign a form. They would go in and let you in, and they can get you a new ID. ID does cost $25, so just make sure you're doing the best you can to hang on to your ID.
Okay. What can I use to decorate my room?
Command strips. No thumbtacks, no tape, nothing like that. Exclusively command strips. Those are the safest things for our dorm walls. And you can essentially put anything up on there so long as it's not too heavy and it rips out the sheetrock.
Can I do my laundry on campus, or do I have to go somewhere else?
Yes, we have a laundry facility actually right at the end of the first block of seats. The machines are right now coin operated, so when you come, make sure you bring some quarters in order to do some laundry. But yes, we do have it available on site for you.
Okay, and I'm sorry. How can I change my meal plan if I want more or less money on it for the next term? Kelly, do you want to take that one? Oh, or Lindsay?
Go ahead.
Lindsay, I'll let you take that since I know that's going to be a new process.
Yes. So we just started this term where students are allowed to go into their student portal and select their own meal plans. New students, you do not have to do that at this point. We are going to try to start working that into 2021. So at this point, as we're close to the start, just email myself or email residentslife@centralpenn.edu and let us know. All the new students are required to have at least the $690 meal plan for their first term. So that is the default amount for the first term. After the first term, you can select if you want to go lower. You can always select if you want to go higher. So just let myself know, or if you're coming in for fall, let Kelly know, and we can get that taken care of for you.
Okay. We reviewed that animals are not allowed except for fish, but I was wondering if a small animal like hermit crabs would be allowed if they live in their tank.
I'll let you answer that, Lindsay.
So currently we're just allowing fish at this time.
Any specific kind of fish, Linz?
Not piranhas. Not
Okay.
piranhas.
When we come from moving in, is there a restriction on who can come to help move in?
So that's a great question. Right now, the way we're doing the move-in process is you can bring whoever you want to bring with you to help you move in. However, when you get to the unit, there is going to be a limitation of how many people are allowed in the unit at a time. So right now, we have it as the student plus one person. So even though you may have other people with you, they all can't be in the unit with you at the same time. So you just need to space that out. And everyone needs to be wearing masks during move-in.
Okay. Can you share with them how move-in's going to look for the fall yet?
Yeah, I can give an idea. We're finalizing everything. It's going to get posted this week. It'll all be in roommate packets as well. So we're actually going to be assigning you a specific move-in time. And then there's going to be a couple different waves. So you'll either be assigned a morning, afternoon on Saturday, or a morning or afternoon on Sunday. So there's going to be a couple different times available.
Does the meal plan roll over if the full amount is not used?
So the meal plans will roll from term to term during the academic year. So the academic year runs summer through the term. So it follows your lease as well. So if you have a certain amount of money that you have in fall and they don't use it all, it will roll to winter, and then the same will roll to spring. At the end of spring is when it wipes the balances out and you start over.
Okay.
So just budget wisely.
What time and day is move-in?
So right now it's going to be October 3rd and 4th. We are working on finalizing the times for the morning. It'll be in your roommate packets. But there'll be a morning option and an afternoon option, and we'll assign those. So if you get your assignment, you have any concerns or questions, just contact us.
Okay. And Lindsay, I apologize if you already answered this, but are you sending the roommate packets by email this time or by mail that they should be looking for?
So we are going to be mailing them out to the students this time.
Okay. So look for a packet, a big envelope in the mail from the Residence Life.
Yay!
What is an RA and what do they do and how do I become one?
So an RA is a student leader. Essentially, they are, in simple terms, like head of a house. So they are a student resource to be able to assist in academic, roommate conflict, mediation, and basically just being a guiding force throughout your college experience. RAs are trained in CPR, first aid, AED, they have conflict resolution training, they become certified allies. So they go through an extensive week-long training to make sure that they are everything that they need to be for you when you arrive on campus. To be an RA, we run the applications usually once a year, and I blast that through email. Flyers go out, it's on Blackboard, there's a ton of promotion for it. The application process essentially is a packet where you answer some questions, a personal essay, and then you get some letters of recommendation. And then depending on your application, I would usually call you in for an interview. Then after the interview, you know, we go through training and you're hired and all that good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sean, this may be a question for you. What would happen if the school is to shut down due to COVID?
There we go. Sorry. Thank you. So we have protocols in place, and it really depends on the circumstances of how we would go about closing off certain buildings, certain rooms, certain classrooms, or whole instructional buildings. If that occurs, the classes will be converted to remote instruction. All faculty are prepared because even if you have a class, if there's a student who is symptomatic, they will need to be isolated in their housing area, or if you're a commuter student at home, and then you would convert to remote. So there's remote instruction going on simultaneously with even in-person classes. So it really, the circumstances will dictate it, and we have protocols in place that we can act quickly with certain situations of spread of the virus, or if somebody's identified. And then the cleaning protocols that go behind it. We're cleaning our facilities twice a day. And then if we have, I didn't mention contact tracing also previously, that we're putting in place QR codes, and people will be able to use the app to scan in, and then if we have somebody who is positive or identified as potentially COVID positive, we'll be able to identify who was in that room and notify people that you were in a room with a student who has been identified, whatever the circumstances are. It's all anonymous. It's all confidential. But that will help inform people.
As far as it affects housing, just like I said, keep track of your student emails, because if we have anything like that that comes up in housing that we need to notify you or we need to enact certain things, we will be contacting you through email first. So just make sure, like I said, you're checking that every day.
Okay, perfect. Lindsay, it was my next reminder, so you did it. All right, guys, if there's anything else for housing, please put it in the chat now. Or if anything that Bree, Brian, or Lindsay want to add.
Make sure you're getting your forms done.
Would we all be sent home if there was COVID on campus?
I think that's going to be something that would need to be reviewed at the time. I don't think that's going to be an easy yes or no answer right now, Jeremiah, but I don't think it's going to be an easy yes or no. We'd have to evaluate and see the extent and what's going on at that time.
Yeah, let me add to that, Lindsay. If we have isolated cases, our intent is to not, specifically with students in housing, is not to send students home. Now, students, you're not captive here, so students can choose to go home if they want to. But if we have initial cases, isolated cases, we have actually space apartment buildings that we have, and we've actually set one aside just for students to be isolated so they can remain on campus and continue to do remote education until such time their health improved. Now that's, if things start progressing and got out of control, then that's a different circumstance. So Lindsay, your answer is correct. Is everything is situational. We've been experiencing this with the summer term, and as things have come up, it depends on the specifics of a circumstance. And so the challenge is not to try to predetermine what you're going to do, but be ready to act, and then we'll be able to communicate. So that's why the communication tool, students have to be checking their email, checking the app, and be really connected to that, because that's how we can quickly communicate to students.
All right. Thank you, Sean. And thank you, Residence Life, for joining us today. I think there's one more question before I change over to our next presenters. Is there a possibility that if it gets worse and we can't use housing or go to classes, would all programs go online? Or what if the student changes their mind because of this?
So as Sean did say, so all the classes are prepared to switch to online remote education if we need to go that route. As far as if you change your mind, just as far as the housing side's concerned, just reach out and let us know so we can take care of things on our end. We're not forcing anybody to do anything, but we would love to have you on campus. But yeah, just let us know if you change your mind or if you have further concerns. Like I said, you can use the email, the team email, residencelife@centralpenn.edu, and we're happy to talk with you through it.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, at this point, we're going to move on to our next portion of the presentation, which is going to be covered by our Diversity and Multicultural Affairs team. So we have joining us Romeo Azandakan, Tom Palomeri, and Megan Peterson. So guys, I am going to throw it over to you for introductions and to discuss everything you brought to discuss today.
Alrighty, welcome. I just want to extend a warm greetings to our students and parents and their families. It's good to see you here virtually, and hopefully we'll be able to see you here in person in the fall. My name is Romeo Azandakan. I serve as the Vice President of Student Services. So I oversee all of our student services departments and subsequent centers. My overall responsibility is to provide leadership and guidance to those departments to empower our students. for degree success and just a very positive experience at Central Penn College.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all this morning. My name is Megan Peterson. I am the Dean of Equity and Multicultural Affairs and the Interim Dean of Student Success. So areas that I oversee include disability support services, Title IX, student rights and responsibilities, and our multicultural affairs and programming, as well as providing support for our counseling services, student success and advising, and our learning center. So I'm really excited to be here with you this morning.
And my name is Tom Palmieri. I am the Director of Counseling Services at the college. So I oversee all of the mental health treatment that occurs at the college, myself and my co-therapist, John. And I also chair what's called our Student Alert team, which is the system that we have in place at the college so that if faculty or staff become aware of a concern that a student has and we need to take action to provide support, I kind of coordinate a lot of that process. So things that sometimes happen that we might need to connect students might have to do with resources outside of campus or being able to access resources in the campus, providing information to other family members of the students or learning more about some options. So we kind of do a little bit of everything with that. And I'm also the advisor for our LGBTQ+ club called Equal Nights.
And we're here to really talk about diversity, inclusion, and multiculturalism at Central Penn College. Central Penn is a very diverse institution. We are small, but we're mighty in our students and their diverse backgrounds. You know, the higher ed environment really brings different students from different backgrounds, different life experiences together for this shared purpose. And the shared purpose is to complete your degree and to go on and go into your passions and your careers. But through that process, you meet different people. You meet who may be different from you or very similar to you. And we see diversity and inclusion as a strength here at Central Penn College. But it's also a very complicated web of different nuances to really engage with students from diverse backgrounds and experiences to come together to really take advantage of our diverse constituency and those experiences that can really be very beneficial to your educational journey. So one of the ways that we have really started to look at strategically and from a leadership standpoint, how do we infuse really equitable practices and put diversity into practice, not just talk about it, but really just be about it, is that we have recently convened our Presidential Commission on Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity. And this stemmed from national events, really looking at national events from the turmoil that's going on in our country, the killing of George Floyd, and subsequent events that have transpired. These are very difficult conversations, very difficult circumstances. So our president, Dr. Linda Fedrizzi, and our leadership wanted to really be responsive to what was going on outside of our college community. The college environment serves as a vacuum. So anything that's happening from a macro sociological level will come into our community. And really, we have to be walk into brave spaces and open spaces to really address how we respond as a collegiate institution, but also be responsive to our students who bring those experiences, those backgrounds into our college for this collective sense of community. So the Presidential Commission is really set to address inclusivity, diversity, and equitable practices within our own institution, how we can become anti-racist as an institution, how we can become more inclusive, how we can become more representative of our student bodies and their needs, all student constituency and what they bring to the table. And this also includes our faculty and staff and how we are responsive to our students' needs in terms of diversity, inclusion, and equity. So the commission is really there to kind of bridge these action steps, really real, tangible steps that we're going to take to make our Central Penn community better, more equitable, to really employ the strength of diversity and in our college, and to bring that experience to our students so that you can have a learning opportunity there, but also be able to develop and embrace diversity inclusion in your own right. We want to be reflective of our students' identities, and we value what you bring to the table. and accentuate that in a way that is real, that is tangible, that is responsive, and really kind of opens up the doors for a more inclusive and better environment at Central Penn. So the commission is made up of faculty and staff, and it's also working in tandem with our newly formed student advisory board on diversity and inclusion, which brings a student voice to the conversation, making sure students are part of that process, and our own diversity committee here at Central Penn. So that is the way that, from a leadership standpoint, we are looking to really employ some initiatives around diversity and inclusion. And at this point, I'm going to let Megan talk about, particularly regarding programming and opportunities for students to engage in multiculturalism here at Central Penn.
Thank you, Romeo. So in our Diversity Center, we run all sorts of programming for students to really be able to engage with diversity and multiculturalism in different ways. So we have a number of student clubs that students can be involved with. We have our Black Student Union, and I think I saw Asia is on this call. She's our advisor for Black Student Union. There she is. We also have HASA, which is our Hispanic American Student Association. Tom mentioned Equal Nights, our LGBTQ+ student organization. So we do have a number of student clubs and organizations, which is one way that students can connect and find community. But we also run a whole bunch of programming out of our Diversity Center. So we have a center in Bollinger Hall where students are welcome to kind of come and spend time. We always have different informational displays up in that area, and we also run different events out of that space. So some events that we do are, they might be around different cultural events. So it could be learning about the Festival of Holi, learning about some of the history of St. Patrick's Day, learning about the history of Mardi Gras, different cultural events that happen. We do programming around that to be able to learn and engage with different cultural events that you might not know the history or background of. We also do events, sometimes diversity cupcakes, which is a fun way to come and be able to decorate cupcakes or make ice cream sundaes, but also to be able to learn about the different elements of diversity that we have on campus. So we try to make it really fun, but also a way to learn as well. Every summer we do an event called Do Your Summer Reading with the Office of Multicultural Affairs. And for anyone who is interested, my office provides a free book that we will all read together and discuss. This summer we're reading How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, and we'll be doing a series of discussions about that book in September. So we're really excited about the discussions that we're having around that. We also have a Student Multicultural Advisory Board, also known as SMAP, which is a group of students that help inform the programming that comes out of the Office of Multicultural Affairs, helps plan the events, helps let me know what would be of interest to the students so that we can keep the programming relevant and engaging. We've done things like trips to Cultural Fest in Harrisburg. We've done different events on campus that have been really informed by that group, different learning to cook events, things like that. We also have our annual Black History Month luncheon, which is one of our big flagship events on campus that we work in partnership with BSU to do that. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can engage with diversity and inclusion programming and multicultural affairs programming when you're on campus. And I'd be really excited to work with all of you to get you connected in those ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Oh, no, I was just to piggyback off of what Megan was saying. So counseling services also does collaboration with faculty around how mental health issues manifest both in a student's like actual time at college, but also how mental health concerns manifest as students pursue their career of choice, be it law enforcement or business or the health sciences program. So like, what does that look like? COVID-19, like we're just starting to get a lot of the research that from preliminary data that's talking about like what it's like to be a student that's starting college during COVID. Starting college is like a really challenging and experience during non-global crisis times. So part of the reason that I wanted to kind of click in today is just to like let you all know, and I posted a little thing in the chat. I posted a typo in the first 3 words because COVID brain is real, but just making sure you all knew how to access us. We are providing all of our services remotely for the summer and potentially for the fall, depending on how things shake out too. Counseling services is free to all of your students. So if any of you had been getting mental health treatment in the community and you want to continue with that therapist, that's beautiful. But if maybe you have been accessing treatment beforehand and you might have been paying a $25, $35, $50, possibly like $75 copay, our services are free through the college as part of your tuition. So John and I offer sessions over the phone. We have a HIPAA compliant secure video chat option that we use as well. And this is something that students can take advantage of for whatever reason. Sometimes it's because there is a need that like pops up and is really emergent and they might only meet with us a couple of times. But sometimes it might be something that, there had been a need that started before you got to Central Penn, and you're going to choose now to kind of get that support for you. The thing that we really just want to drive home to students is that your mental health and your mental wellness is something that we all really deal with for the rest of our lives, and that the staff and the faculty like really support the fact that your ability to take care of yourself and address your own needs is going to be positively correlated with your ability to be successful at Central Penn. I always kind of tell my own clients, you can't give anybody else what you yourself do not have. So really being able to take care of you is fundamental. And I would encourage you guys to use your resources. We get paid to help you, so give us stuff to do.
All right, guys. Does anybody have any questions for Megan, Romeo, or Tom today? You can put them in the chat.
I saw there was a question about if there's a voting place on campus. So on campus, we do not have, we are not a polling location. For students that are registered to vote in East Pennsboro, we typically do run a shuttle to the local polling place. If you are registered to vote back home, we can, my office is happy to walk you through the process of getting a mail-in ballot so that you can send your ballot in from campus. The campus is not a polling place.
Okay, the next question was, is there an anti-hate policy set in place?
Yes, absolutely. We have a number of anti-discrimination, anti-harassment policies that are set in place. We have a statement of inclusion. So yes, that is in place, absolutely.
And you can find all of these policies in your student handbook as you transition here to Central Penn. You will have a copy of that electronically.
Jeremy, I saw your question. I know this doesn't have anything to do with Romeo or Megan or Tom right now, but are all credits transferable? It's all up to the receiving institution. So you can definitely, depending on where you're trying to transfer to, if you're trying to transfer to us, you would just provide us with your transcript and we would get them evaluated. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We appreciate it. Next we have up, I think everybody's on, is student engagement and activities. And we have our athletic director as well on this call. So welcome to, oh, there's Adrian Toman, Janet Bixler, and Casey Hicks. So ladies, I will let you take this away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. So humor me for a second. I know I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if you're comfortable with it, turn your cameras on. Let us see your awesome, amazing faces. I see Tanner, Jeremiah, Rebert, Olivia, and Nick. Are you both coming? We get you both here at Central Penn? Yes, awesome. Danielle, Tim. Oh, who do we got on this page? Oh, lots of screens without cameras. Well, I hope that you will encourage to put your videos on so we get to say hi to you, because we do like seeing your faces, and we can't wait seeing your faces in person too. So I'll be quiet for a second. I'm Adrienne, the Dean of Student Engagement. Casey, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Casey Hicks. I'm the athletic director. Hi, everybody.
You're so quiet. Janet, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Janet Bixler. I'm the theater director at the Capital Blue Cross Theater in the underground at Central Penn College. Welcome. Come play with us.
So we are going to start with a little survey. So we have Derek in the wings, and he's going to give you a little poll, okay? So I don't really know how this works because I haven't done it yet in Zoom, but he does, so that's the important thing. But there's a poll question that should be popping up for you to answer. Oh, it just did.
And the question is, this fall, I am most excited to participate / attend intramural sports, theater productions, comedians, musicians, leadership trainings, guest speakers, club activities.
Oh, I'm excited to see what they say. Now, you'll get a little bit of all of these things, but I'm excited to see what your favorite is. Oh, intramural sports and club activities are in like neck and neck right now. I am excited to see leadership training so highly represented. That's awesome. Apparently nobody wants comedy. No laughs.
But it looks like everybody wants to get on stage and perform. How exciting!
So I did see in the chat screen, it talks a little bit, somebody had asked about COVID restrictions and if we're still gonna have fun activities on campus. The answer is yes. It may look a little different. We may be adjusting things a little bit to make sure that you guys are all safe. But yes, there are fun things going to be happening. There's been an awesome group that's been leading what we call the Nightway Gathering. That's been happening every Wednesday night here on campus. Last Wednesday we played kickball, and we did it, you know, we had special like cones and everything. It was so much fun. We've done bonfires, we've done pool parties, all kinds of different things already, in a way that we're able to keep you safe here as well. We have a ton of virtual events also. So we do Thursday night bingo and guest speakers and lots of opportunities to pop in and connect with your peers. You might be looking for a lunchtime conversation. We have our Phonics Friday. We have some really great opportunities just to be mindful, our little mindfulness moments. We have right now, these will eventually hopefully be back on campus, but right now they're virtual. We have Zumba, Pilates, we did Afroflow yoga, so a little bit of everything, and we're very open to your ideas as well. If we can do it in a way that we can keep you safe, we're definitely gonna try to keep you busy and give you lots of fun options. Janet and Casey, did you want to say anything else regarding these options now, or do you want to wait for your questions?
Well, I can wait.
Sam.
Okay. So I think that's it for me right now. I'm going to go ahead and let the other club activities won first place, intramural sports second, and leadership trainings third. So we're going to remember that when you guys get on campus, okay? All right.
Second question. I can't wait to play this during fall intramurals. Ping pong, sand volleyball, co-ed soccer, 3-on-3, basketball, kickball, ultimate frisbee, wiffle ball, cornhole, which if you didn't know is a beanbag toss into a big board with a hole, and can jam, which I bet you really don't know, which is frisbees, throwing them into a big hole of a trash can. What are you most excited playing?
I'm going to jump in here too. So I wanted to real quick talk about athletics during this. So our question looks a little bit different. Jeremiah, I saw your your question in the chat about sports. So our fall sports this year for athletics have been postponed to the spring. But traditionally speaking, I wanted to talk to you guys about the 6 intercollegiate sports that we do offer. Are there a lot of athletes on the call today? Couple?
Thumbs up if you're an athlete, or put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you're an athlete, put what sport you play in the chat. I'd like to read through it and see what kind of athletes we're getting. But we have, traditionally speaking, in the fall, we have men's and women's soccer. We're also bringing back women's volleyball. In the winter, we jump into men's and women's basketball, which we are still planning on starting men's and women's basketball this year in October. And then we finish in the spring with baseball. So those are the 6 intercollegiate sports we offer. But for the fall, without soccer and volleyball, we are planning on offering a lot more intramural events, which is why we have this poll question. So we have a 4-on-4 soccer league ready for the fall. We also have a couple of sand volleyball tournaments ready to go. In I think 2 or 3 weeks, we have a fun faculty staff softball game. So if you're local, that'll be fun to come out, meet some of the other Knights that are coming to Central Penn. Some of the current students, faculty, and staff will all be there. So we have some fun events on campus that you guys can come watch, participate. But intramural question, wanted to know what else you guys want to see, because we're trying to bring as many leagues, tournaments, fun recreational activities that we can during the fall. So let's check out the poll results and see what other type of sports or tournaments we can offer this fall when you guys are on campus.
Oh, Casey, ping pong did not win.
No, but we got it. I mean, 11% isn't bad. I can run with that.
You only need 2 people to play ping pong, and I got the portable ping pong set. It'll be set up on some table.
I had my fingers crossed for ping pong. I'm pretty good at ping pong. I wanted to challenge somebody. So what did we have? Two votes for ping pong. Come see me in the underground. We can run our own little tournament.
At the Nightway Gathering this past Wednesday night, doing social distancing with Casey's wise arrangement of traffic cones, we had a kickball game under the lights, I hear, of cars. Some of the soccer players told me that the car lights were on because we did it late at night. Well, after the sun went down. And we've already done a cornhole tournament this summer.
Yeah, it looks like cornhole and kickball were tied. So maybe we bring back a cornhole and kickball tournament this fall. I would love to organize something like that. And Jam wasn't too far behind. 3-on-3 basketball, which could be fun. We have some really nice outdoor basketball courts on campus, so we can run a fun 3-on-3 basketball tournament there. I'll also participate in that. So we just got to get Adrian and Janet involved in a little bit more of these intramural sports. You guys can help me with that when you get here in the fall, because they have not participated in many sporting events. So
okay,
you know what? Somebody has to keep score.
And someone has to hold the pom-poms and like cheer. Have you heard me cheer? That's a sport in and of itself. And by the way, as I was telling the people in the Central Penn, the CPC Foundations class yesterday, the soccer players, and Abby, who used to play a sport, but then she got hurt, but she's able to play again. I asked them if they wanted to play the faculty staff on student softball game. And even though Jeffrey's a baseball player, but even though the other ones aren't baseball players, they all want to play. They all want to be on the student team, Casey. And I said, I can't play because the only time I played softball when I was a semi-adult, I got hit in the ear with the softball. And I said, no, give me the pom-poms.
Well, there you go. That just shows we'll continue to run these tournaments and events. But for those of you that are on the call that don't want to participate in the sports, you can hang out with Adrian and keep score, or you can join Janet's team and cheer for everybody. So there's a spot for everybody in athletics and intramural. So I encourage you guys to get involved. Reach out to me directly, email me, stop by, see me on campus if you guys need to get in contact with a coach or just have questions, want to see a tournament. I'm always happy to talk to you guys and figure out what we can do. So lots of fun stuff for this fall. Even though we don't have the intercollegiate sports right now, we're definitely going to have a lot of intramural and tournaments, leagues on campus to keep you guys happy, healthy, and active. So,
next question. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about what you're most interested in, the theater. So when it comes to the theater, I can't wait to work backstage for a show, perform in a show, attend a student-created play, attend a traditional play, attend a musical, log on for the virtual theatrical showcase, join the CP Players Drama Club. So go ahead, take a moment, respond. If your arm was twisted and you had to go to the theater, what would you choose? What is this? No one wants to join the CP Players Drama Club? Do you know, when we started the CP Players Drama Club about 6 years, no, I'd say, yeah, 6 years ago, we had in our first year over 25 regular members. So everybody wants to be part of the drama club. So let me tell you a little bit about the Central Penn College's theater, which is the Capital Blue Cross Theater. It is a black box theater, which means the floor is black, the walls are black, the chairs are black, the ceiling is black, which makes it a flexible space. All the chairs can be picked up and can be rearranged. The theater has been working and in operation for 6 years. It was constructed in the underground in 2014, and we have actually performed and produced all kinds of theater in the black box space of the Capital Blue Cross Theater. We have done a Broadway musical. We have done a full-on traditional play, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, with smoke machine and special effects. Every year we do a student-created play, which is extremely popular, where the students bring their true lived experiences and they turn it into a play around a theme. The last one we did had to do with the theme hide and seek, and it involved the students going in and out of portals into past lives. So it was extremely dramatic, and it actually used musical theater because 2 of our actors are extremely musical theater talented. And in student created plays, we can put in anything that the students are interested in. Okay, so anywho, I don't know what else I want to say, except I want you guys to come to see the theater. And guess what? When we went into COVID in March, we created an online theater production called the Spring Theatrical Showcase, where we had 11 performers perform on Zoom, and it was a benefit showcase for the Dauphin County Bail System Fund. So people who don't have money to pay their way out of bail, they have this fund that they can access. We had 11 performers, and over 70 people had logged on to see the show in the Zoom webinar format. Now, the Capital Blue Cross Theater is working on a summer showcase, which you can see on September 3rd, and almost all the performers are students, and we're doing musical theater numbers, we're doing comedic monologues, we have an epic spoken word poem presented and created by an alum and one of our current students. It is mind-blowing. We have friends of the theater out in the community coming in, and they are improv artists, and they'll be doing it live. Oh my goodness. And then we're also working on a huge show for September 2021, which is a play with music. It's an original play created by a local playwright about the US Constitution. You're like, ew, boring. Hello. The Constitution is an ever-evolving document. And did you ever wonder who the Constitution was really written for? Well, that play explores it. It looks at the women. It looks to the African-American people. It looks to the man who literally wrote the Constitution, which is a relative of the playwright. This is a play with music. Oh my gosh, it's going to be huge. And I'm also working on bringing back a show that Adrian was in, which is Reclaiming My Time, which is true stories of women who lived during the civil rights and Jim Crow era. That's when we set it in the round. It was amazing. We're turning that into a Zoom performance, and we're bringing back the actors. Because it's on Zoom, our actors can still participate. One lives in Maryland now. One lives in Colorado. And we're going to be working with a local high school so that they can learn about the stories of these women and also look to what's happening now in regards to Black Lives Matter. And then we're working on another show. Hello, it never stops. And that show is called That Championship Season for you sports fans. It's about a basketball team that won the championship season. All the characters are morally corrupt. That'll be up in November.
I think we should ask them how they want to find out about these events. I think we have a final poll question. The best way to let me know about upcoming events is email, which is called Student Central. You get it from me twice a week. Text, flyers, the CPC app. If you didn't download it or get it off of the App Store yet for free, you should. Blackboard, which is where you'll go to get your classes. the Nightway broadcast, which is a really cool production that Janet and Casey produce. And we have Facebook and Instagram, and we have word of mouth. So what is the very best way for you to find out about all these upcoming events? I'll give you a hint though. All these locations are where you can find out about upcoming events.
And the Nightway broadcast is a student-run broadcast where they create the stories that they want to share with our community at Central Penn College, and they are the anchormen and anchor women, and they even do the video editing. So you can get involved in that, but it's also, they create the fun videos that you can learn what's happening.
Okay, I'm gonna put in the chat window the information to get on our email distribution list. This is not the snow delay list, okay? So if we have a Blackboard day or an emergency, this is different than Student Alert. It's only about activities. But if you text CPC to 76626, since text message was tied for first, that'll automatically get you on that list. It doesn't happen for every event, just the biggies. But text CPC to 76626.
So I have a question, Adrian and Casey, for our students. We see that here you would prefer to get your information via email, but we so often hear from the students, they actually admit it, they're totally honest, that they don't read their emails. So could one of the people that are students tell us, why do you want it through email if you're not going to read it? Now, maybe you all read emails. But we've heard so many times from students they don't read their emails. Anybody have some insight? Because I am old. I do not know necessarily how you all think. Robert, do you want to tell me? Or is it Ribbert?
I think they're going to check their emails.
Me too. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, Janet.
Well, I love that. I love that.
Hey, real quick, I had a question in chat, and I want to make sure I give them the right information, and I'm sure it'll help everybody else. So they asked, how did they get the Central Penn app? I know you can go right to your app store. Is the name of the app Central Penn College? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody else who has the question, if you go to your app store and just type in Central Penn College, the app will pop up. It's a picture of our globe. Download that app and you can meet new students there. There's always events, athletics, information, theater, clubs, all that stuff is all posted in the app. So that's a great way for you guys to get the information as well.
And when you do that, you're going to need your student email and your password. So whatever your single sign-on is. Kelly, do they already have that?
They do.
Yes, Lisa's shaking her head. Perfect. So yeah, you'll use that and that'll get you in there that you'll see the same thing all the other students do.
All right, ladies, there was one question in the chat here. Why do you guys call it the underground? Is it because it's really underground?
Kind of, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's it was built into the side of a hill. So, yes.
There isn't a tunnel that leads you there or anything, but like the second floor of it is like on ground level, and then there's like a slope that comes down, and then you go in, in a hill. I feel like that makes me think of Hobbits.
Yeah, well, you know,
like that.
The theater, there's a back door, and you go down steps in the back door, and you're really under. And the theater is actually a huge square of a space, and it's all cinder block. And we run a lot of things on Wi-Fi or wireless in the theater, and sometimes all of our electronics go down because it's a huge cinder block space underground, which prevents those waves coming through. So yeah, actually, it is underground.
Awesome. Do you guys have any other questions for these ladies today about student activities, getting involved on campus?
We can't wait to meet you all.
Yes, come to the theater. So I have a question for Lisa. Do these students receive information while they're contemplating if they're going to enroll in our college? Do they receive information of what's happening that they can actually, because we're doing virtual activities, that they could actually attend? Because we do a lot of opportunities where community members can attend. So if you're not a student, you still could.
Yes, they do get this, and actually everybody on this call today is actually already accepted for the fall term, so.
Oh, are we all going to see you then?
Yeah, these are
Officially.
all now nights.
Yay, 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 yay.
All right, guys. Well, if there are no other questions today, I know we kept you guys a couple minutes longer than expected, so we appreciate you guys staying on. If you have any other questions, I know we had all put our emails in throughout the time that we've been on this Zoom meeting, so feel free to reach out to any one of us and we can, answer any questions after. Oh, sorry, there's one more question. Is there a parent portal or communication forum? No, I don't actually think there is a parent portal. So that is definitely something that we can discuss, but right now there is not a parent portal. Any communication would come through the student. And the website is the best place to get all of that information as well. Oh, another question popped up before we got off here is, how do I know I completed all the housing paperwork and requirements? Kelly, do you want to take that one?
Yep, if you are not sure, you think you completed it, you can always email residentslife@centralpenn.edu and they'll do a verification for you.
Okay, and what are the different ways that we can meet our upcoming classmates?
I can throw out two things. So one is once you download the app, you will be able to connect with other classmates there. You'll see everybody on there and you actually can make friends kind of like you do, I don't want to say like on Facebook, but kind of like that. So that's a really good place to start. If anybody's on, I know Facebook isn't quite as popular now, but if you are on Facebook, there's a student activities Facebook page and a Central Penn College Facebook page. Both of those are places where you can connect. Those would probably be my suggestions to start.
I know a lot of people use the app in order to do that, so that was a great suggestion, Adrian.
And you guys are absolutely, if you see events on the app like the Thursday night bingo and the anything, you're welcome to pop in. Like you don't have to wait until the start of the fall term. You're more than welcome to come now because you'll meet other students at those virtual events as well.
Yes, in fact, we have drama club that meets every Wednesday at 4:30, and two of our current students actually attended the entire spring term as have accepted students. Their first term is now summer, but they attended all spring because they were accepted.
Okay. All right, it looks like that wraps up all of our questions. Kelly, do you want to share with them about their welcome package that they should be expecting?
Yep, so before the start of classes, you will in the mail receive a little something for attending this. So be on the lookout for a box that has some Central Penn goodies in it, and it will be here before your classes start.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us on this Friday morning, and we cannot wait to see you in a little less than 6 weeks, I think. So it's coming sooner than you think. So we'll see you around campus. Have a great day, guys.